Ladies and gentlemen, most of Trump's lawsuits, which are in multiple states, have failed. And the reason why his lawsuits are failing is because Trump is not attaching any evidence to his cases. They're just filing papers without evidence attached to whatever claim you are making. You got to do that even for small claim. You got to fill out the paperwork and attach whatever evidence you want the courts to see. Well, they're not even doing that. And now these are attorneys that have been practicing for years. They know what the procedures are. Wow. This is even more embarrassing. And y'all, yeah, I had a couple of them Trump supporters come to my channel talking all that fraud mess. And as soon as you ask for evidence, they have none to show you. You know, they'll say things like, well, dead people vote. Well, if you go back and look at every election, that happens in every election. That just didn't happen with Trump. Wow. It's a lot of sore losers out here. So this came out, ladies and gentlemen, on NPR November 10th, 2020. Trump election lawsuits have mostly failed. Here's what they tried. So, despite calls from many of the concessions this weekend, President Trump and his campaign said they are pushing to fight the election results tooth and nail. Practically speaking, that means lawsuits. Our campaign will start prosecuting our case in court to ensure election laws are fully upheld and the rightful winner is seated. Trump said in a statement Saturday, the American people are entitled to an honest election. That means counting all legal ballots, not counting any illegal ballots. The problem is Trump's campaign has spent much of the week in court with little success without presenting anything close to evidence that points to a fraudulent result. You can't go to court just because you don't like the vote totals. Ohio State election law professor Ned Foley said on MSNBC over the weekend. You have to have a legal claim and you have to have evidence to back it up. And that's just not there. Here's a run through of the litigation the Trump campaign has filed so far. Philadelphia may be the central location in President Trump's quest to prove the 2020 election was stolen from him. As expected, Republican voters voted more heavily on Election Day in Pennsylvania, a critical swing state, and Democrats voted significantly larger numbers by mail because laws around the voting count process did not adjust to the reality. It took days before it was clear that former Vice President Joe Biden had won the state. Trump campaign and many Republicans, however, have seized on the time it taken for officials to count ballots as a sign of something fraudulent happening. But the lawsuits have been filed. So far, they have not been successful. Thus far, the campaign has scored a few wins in court, but none that will have an effect on the result of the state. A state court and separately, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the local officials must segregate the ballots in the case deadlines that were extended by the Secretary of State are found to be unconstitutional. It is clear how many ballots, okay, it is unclear how many ballots that will be, counted at this point, but experts are extremely skeptical that it will be anywhere close enough to overturn Biden's current 45,000 vote lead in the state. Separately, a state judge ruled the election observers could stand slightly closer to election officials than they were previously allowed to, but a request to stop vote counting over an issue was dismissed. Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro told NPR that despite Trump's rhetoric about big legal wins in the state, the lawsuits thus far have yielded no material changes to election processes. So everything they have been running around filing, they said it's not strong enough to change the election. Hey, I'm just saying, it's not strong enough to change the election. Okay, I'm not going to get into a rhetorical battle with the president, but it's hardly a big win, Shapiro said, after the court decision that allowed observers in Philadelphia to stand a few feet closer to election workers. It has no effect on the outcome of this election. So he said, although those people are all down there, Joe Biden still won the state of Pennsylvania. At a press conference Monday afternoon, the Republican National Committee headquarters, a number of top Republicans announced a fresh lawsuit in Pennsylvania over what it claims was unfair and unequal treatment of Republicans in this state election. That litigation is ongoing. So, something similar is also going on in the state of Michigan. The Trump campaign has tried to elude the, they're making the same claims in Michigan. The campaign claims have focused on an alleged lack of transparency in the vote counting process. But in two cases, judges have not been swayed. So the judges in Michigan and Florida, and not Florida, Michigan and Georgia threw the cases out. Still, Trump says it has more evidence to come regarding the election process in Detroit. Two voters filed suit against the city of Detroit and the election commission, alleging the number of crimes on the part of the election officials. The suit includes an affidavit from the elections employee who makes a number of claims that have been disputed by city officials. We have only begun the process of obtaining an accurate and honest count, said a White House press secretary, that Kayleigh McEnany, at a press conference Monday afternoon. So, Arizona, they're another one, baseless Sharpie conspiracy. So I don't know, y'all. You got to tell me what you think, but they're not having too much luck with their claims. And, so I see they have Nevada, Georgia, Michigan, so when we know Pennsylvania, wow, how embarrassing. So you're going to keep this fight going, and the courts ain't even going along with you on most of these filings. And they said, the few courts that did somewhat agree with you, they said it wasn't even strong enough to change the election. Then what is the point? What is the point? I mean, seriously, you really can't handle just conceding and moving on? Damn. All right, y'all, please tell me what you think. This is embarrassing. This is really embarrassing for the Republican Party. But I'm sure they don't feel embarrassed at all. But damn, you're fighting. What's that saying? Beating a dead horse. Man, they've overkilled the dead horse at this point. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.